Hello, everybody. Tashina Gonzalez with Be Activa, your favorite holistic wellness coach. And today we are back with an emotional topic, and we are talking about toxic positivity. What is it and how to avoid it? And so I actually posted over the past couple of days some information about this, and people have been enjoying it and were like, hey, you put words to something that I knew that bothers me about other people. And so I thought I'd deep dive and get some more information. I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a huge issue with this. One in my Strength Finder strengths, one of my top strengths is positivity. And people ask me a lot of times, they're like, are you always like this? And I'm like, pretty much 90% of the time I am positive and energetic and like this. But I do have, as I've shared lots of times, I do have tendencies to push down my emotions. And so I was kind of trained to sometimes display this like toxic positivity, but I don't think it's something that I do all the time. But I want to definitely develop more empathy towards other person and making sure that I avoid phrases that could be possibly toxic in this way or have tints of toxic positivity. I definitely want to avoid. And so, as usual, I found an article, and the article was talking about how this toxic positivity is even worse in the times that we're in, because we know that there's so many people going through things. And the individual that did the article, she talked about how she lost her job, but she got a severance, and how people would say, hey, look at the bright side. Your husband still works. You got some money, this, that, and other. And I could totally feel like that, because I actually was laid off with a reduced pay. And I also had a really emotionally hard time adjusting when we came to all being shut up in the house as an extreme extrovert. And so when people would come to me and they would say things like, well, at least you don't have to go to war to save the world, or all you had to do is stay in your house. Why is that so hard? Those things would affect me and make me more, because it was denying what my emotions were telling me. I was having an extremely hard time. So, what is toxic positivity? So, toxic positivity is the assumption, either by oneself or others, that despite a person's emotional pain or difficult situation, they should only have a positive mindset or positive vibes, explains a psychologist in Pennsylvania named Jamie Zuckerberg, who specializes in, among other things, anxiety disorders and self-esteem. Toxic positivity can take many forms. It can be a family member who chastises you for expressing frustration instead of listening to why you're upset. It can be a comment to look on the bright side, be grateful for what you have. It can be a meme that tells you to just change your outlook to be happy. It can be a friend who repeatedly posts about how productive they're being. It can be your own feelings that you shouldn't dwell on, feelings of sadness, anxiety, loneliness, or fear. And some of this I definitely do. So I'm just thinking, I have toxic positivity sometimes towards myself. I usually don't have it towards other people. So with toxic positivity, negative emotions are seen as inherently bad. Instead, positivity and happiness are compulsively pushed, and authentic human emotion experience are denied, minimized, or invalidated. The pressure to appear okay invalidates the range of emotions we all experience, from a psychotherapist in Baltimore named Carolyn Carroll. It can give the impression that you are defective when you feel distress, which can be internalized in a core belief that you are inadequate or weak. Judging yourself for feeling pain, sadness, jealousy, which are part of the human experience and our transient emotions, leads to what are referred to as secondary emotions, such as shame, that are much more intense and maladaptive. They distract us from the problem at hand, and they don't give space for self-compassion, which is so vital to our mental health. It goes on to say that toxic positivity at its core is an avoidance strategy used to push away and invalidate any internal discomfort. But when you avoid your emotions, you can actually cause more harm, because there's a study that shows when you're asked not to think about something, you actually think about it more, and suppressing your feelings cause more internal psychological stress. Avoidance and suppression of emotional discomfort leads to increased anxiety, depression, and overall worsening of mental health. Failure to effectively process emotions in a timely manner can lead to a myriad of psychological difficulties, including disrupted sleep, increased substance abuse, risks of acute stress response, prolonged grief, and even PTSD. So again, it's especially harmful right now because 6 out of 10 Americans say that they've experienced strong negative emotions like anxiety, depression, loneliness, or hopelessness during this period of time. So we have to remember it's okay not to be okay, and it's actually normal, especially during this time. And so you have to accept whatever genuine feelings come up, sit with them, and then let them pass on their own. So what are some tips for us to do this on a regular basis? So number one, avoid ignoring and stuffing your emotions. This is one I always have to work on. Acknowledge how you feel and feel all your emotions, good or bad. Sit with them. Avoiding how you feel will only prolong the discomfort. It's good to talk or write about how you feel. A brain imaging study at UCLA showed that putting feelings into words reduces intensity of emotions such as sadness, anger, and pain. So I, like, this past Tuesday after the funeral, I did a lot of journaling. I listened to some music. I made sure that, because I didn't cry at the funeral or anything, so I tried to make sure that I was sitting with the discomfort and pain that I had so that it could start to come out. Number two, listen and validate how others feel, even when it's different than how you feel. Definitely want to work on this. Everyone's entitled to their own feelings. Don't shame another person for their emotions. It's really important to acknowledge that others may not cope with the things the same way you do. When appropriate, you can offer gentle nudges or suggestions, but otherwise choose support over unsolicited advice. Number three, remember it's okay not to be okay. If you're overwhelmed or exhausted, give yourself permission to rest or do something imperfectly, free of guilt. Number four, remember that feelings aren't mutually exclusive. Healthy positivity acknowledges authentic emotions, Long says. It rejects the either or mindset and holds that two opposing concepts can be true simultaneously. I can still be a positive person and have a bad day or a bad week. You can be sad about losing your job during this time period and be hopeful about finding a new job in the future at the same time. Number five, be realistic. If you want to feel productive, start with small, actionable steps. During times of emotional distress, do not engage in brand new tasks that you think will make you feel better. Stick with familiar ones. Doing things that make you feel better, that are extensions of your existing behavioral repertoire, requires less cognitive effort and protects the person from setting and ultimately not meeting unrealistic expectations. Recognize toxic positivity messages. Messages such as positive vibes only, choose happiness, etc. Remember that what makes positivity toxic is that it dismisses other genuine emotions. If the message is that positivity is the only or the best way to go, that's when it's problematic. You don't have to engage with toxic positivity. And if necessary, be wary of social media. I know I've had to do that several times. Again, in the beginning when people were like, oh, this is not that bad. All you have to do is stay home. When I knew it was affecting my mental health, being isolated was extremely detrimental to me. So that is what I want to share with you guys. Again, I saw a lot of people that either commented back when I was posting the memes about toxic positivity and I was trying to make sure there was no toxic positivity in my brain, or I was imposing it on myself at the time. So I thought I would deep dive it for you guys as part of my Feel Good Friday for emotional wellness so that we all could learn more about it and know how to navigate it. So as usual, don't forget, hi, hello, wave. Let me know what city and state you are watching me from. And if you watch the replay, no matter what venue, on Facebook, Instagram, or later on YouTube, hashtag replay to let me know that you came by. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel as of yet so that you could get more amazing videos like this, make sure you hop on YouTube, Tashina Gonzalez, just my name. Click subscribe and click notifications so you will never miss any of this information. With that, I thank you guys so much for joining me. Have an amazing evening, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.